This is episode number 32 with Tayloria Grant. Hello and welcome to Chase Your Star. I am Monica Carter Tagore, here to inspire and empower you to use your gift and shine. One of my fundamental beliefs is that life gives each of us at least one gift, sometimes more, to be able to make our way. And making a way is about making an impact and making an income. I want to help you use your gift so you can shine and make your way. When you are ready for all life has for you, it's time to chase your star. Let's go. In this episode, I am so excited to welcome Tayloria Grant of OneFullLife.com to the show. Here she shares how she was able to combine her communications expertise with her passion for her love of travel into a unique business. In fact, she offers her signature experience with just the La Dolce Vita Italian experience, where she takes women to Italy and helps them in their personal transformation as they work and live in a different setting. They have that change of scenery and, of course, the enriching experiences of travel. I hope that you're inspired to see that you can create your own unique offering that doesn't look like anybody else's. And it may combine your unique gifts in a way where others may at first would not expect, but once they see it, they realize, wow, this is a perfect fit, just as what has happened with Tayloria. She has done a beautiful job of being able to leverage her gifts into a solution for others. And in this episode, you will learn how travel actually helped her in her own life as she was going through a difficult time, as she was going through a divorce. You will learn why she chose to start this business. You will learn how the work she does now empowers women to step into more of who they are and to grow. In this episode, you will also learn how she was able to make the transition from working for someone else to working for herself and growing this business around her gift of communications expertise and her love of travel. So please join me in welcoming Tayloria Grant.
I am doing this podcast, as I mentioned earlier, just to kind of, help people, to inspire them and to empower them to use their gifts in whatever way they feel called and led to do. And a lot of times we think that we have to follow some set formula, and I want to just help them step out of that box and show that you can create your own formula, your own solution. And so that's why I wanted to invite you on today. How did you get the business that you have today? How did that all happen?
Oh, okay. Thanks, Monica. Actually, it's been One Full Life, which is my personal development company. It has evolved. And so 20 years I worked in marketing and public relations and had a very rewarding experience. But I also got to a point in my life where I was missing out on my children's lives and I wasn't feeling fulfilled. And so from that, I guess fast forward through my own personal journey, I really realized that I have some other gifts that I believe I'm supposed to share with even a broader audience to help them create their ideal life.
Wonderful. You said that you were missing out on your children's lives. So were you somehow not able to go to their school activities or missing out on some of the big things they were doing? And when did you realize you were missing out, or did you always know you were missing out?
Well, I think as working mothers, it's always a challenge. It's never a simple solution, or even if we have the opportunity to not work outside of the home. But I guess for me, maybe some of it was getting ready to turn 40. I also went through a divorce. But I was at a point in my life where I really said, what are the most important things to me? And my children mean the world. So I was missing out on school activities and sporting events. We often have to work more than 40 hours a week, but it really was, tomorrow's not promised. And with tomorrow not being promised, how can I really maximize the days and those times that I have? And so hopefully that gives you a little better insight. It's a challenge still, even as an entrepreneur.
Of course.
But it was just a pivotal moment for me to be able to step back and say, I'm not happy with with a variety of things. I can sit here and complain, or what can I do to change the situation?
Well, and actually I want to jump in right there. You said, what can I do to change the situation? So that's my next question, because, of course, a lot of times people are unhappy in their lives. They know something needs to change, but they continue within that pain. They continue within whatever that agitation is and just let it go because they don't know what else to do, or they're afraid to move. When did you decide that you were going to move and you were going to do something about it instead of just suffer under missing your children's activities and missing out on their lives? When did you decide that you were going to move?
You know, for me, it was a lot about my faith. I have to say, by nature, I'm a planner. I like to know how things are going to work out. And in this journey of being uncomfortable, and I had fear. I still have fear at times. But I also realize from a spiritual standpoint, that is not of God. And with that being in mind, I don't think there's ever a perfect timing. But for me, I think through prayer, through support of friends and family, I was able to step outside of my comfort zone, which really was scary. I didn't know how exactly things were going to work out. I quit my job. I was divorced. I had children and bills. But I also had a peace with my spiritual, with my faith. And so with that, for me, it's been confirmation because everything has really fallen into place. And so when women ask me, how did you do it, or say you're so brave, I don't feel that, Monica. I really thank God for the opportunity, but I also strive to say you can do it too. Now, there are some tools or some other ways, and again, like I say, my foundation, but for me, it was just not wanting to miss out anymore on the things that were important to me, to develop a plan to see how best can I move forward and to have a strong foundation, including my spiritual faith.
And so in terms of planning, how long did you plan before you actually left your job? Did you work your business while you were also working your job? Did you quit your job and then go with your business? How did that part work out for you? What was the transition like for you?
Because during this interview, I would not necessarily say to follow my example. I quit my job. I quit my job, and it happened very quickly. And so there are many ways to go along this journey. My journey was, for me, it was a little different. But what I will say, I think we'll talk a little bit about this moving forward. Travel has been a big part of my personal journey for self-discovery. And so prior to quitting my job in November of 2014, I had a trip planned to Italy. When I was a teenager, I had the opportunity to go to Italy and Greece, and it took me over 20-something years to finally get back. Upon quitting my job, I thought, okay, maybe I shouldn't go because I don't know when I will have more money. But I am very fortunate. My ex-husband and close friends, they said, you have been planning this trip for years, and just go. And so, Monica, as I went, it was amazing. I went back about 5 months later. And so on this journey, there was a lot of healing, a lot of soul searching on the next steps that I would take, because the fear part was saying all you know how to do is marketing and public relations. But through that journey, I was able to see I have a lot of other gifts. Sometimes because of fear, because of other situations, or even allowing people to maybe kill some of that passion and desire, I was able to begin the rebuilding process, which has been extremely instrumental in the next steps of becoming an entrepreneur.
Wow. Well, that sounds, that right there, what you said is so inspirational, because a lot of times, we have these lifelong dreams and we just never pursue them. You said that it took you 20 years to get back to that trip, and you did, and then you turned around 5 months later and went again, and you have used travel as kind of a tool for healing. Can you talk about just the value of travel, of course, whether it's healing, whether it's self-discovery, all of those things that happened for you? So can you talk about just how valuable travel was in recovering from whatever was going on in your life, your divorce, so on and so forth?
Definitely, and travel continues to be just so instrumental in my life. I get excited when I hear other people traveling. It's a passion of mine. We all travel for different reasons, and I think that's one of my first tips is when you travel, you will see what do you like about it. For me, each trip or each experience is very different. I often travel solo, but I travel with my children and even with friends, so you can imagine those are different experiences. But as I reflect back to 2014 and 2015 and being newly divorced, for me, some of the travel was having some alone time. I did travel by myself early on, and not having the distractions, not having the outside noise. I really had to deal with me, my feelings, my emotions, and I purposely did some things out of my comfort zone. It was a little scary. And I mean, not when I say scary, not dangerous, just things that maybe I would not have normally done on my own, whether it was catching the train or some funny things. In 40 years, I had never hung clothes up on a clothesline. But just some things where I personally encourage people, see what you like. It's okay if you don't like what your friends like, but for me, it really has helped. So whether I love to tour churches, and I reflect and I pray, but just the beauty. And I think, Monica, just one other thing, because I could go on. But I have had amazing connections and friendships now. Some of my best friends are not American. English is not even their first language. And if you would have asked me a few years ago, I couldn't fathom the relationships and the growth that I've had because of travel.
Oh, wow. Wow. And that is something. Can you talk about how you were actually able to use your life, your background experience, of course, of communications and public relations, combined with your passion for travel to actually start to serve other people, to serve other women, because you have created a solution for other people based on your own experience and based on your own passion. And with one of the things with Chase Your Star, I try to inspire and empower people to look at their own life stories and what they're good at doing, and to create a solution based on that. And their solution does not have to look like anybody else's solution in the world, but they can still fulfill a need because there are people waiting for their solution. So when did you realize that you could actually combine your background and your passion for travel into a solution for other people, for other women?
Yes. And so, Monica, my experience, as I mentioned, normally I like to know how things are going to be. So it was uncomfortable in the instance that I didn't know immediately how I was going to take this experience of marketing communications and make money, do something I love, and ultimately help people. One thing, as I mentioned about soul searching, trying to take those opportunities of what do you personally like to do. I mentioned travel. I also have, I guess if we want to call it a bucket list. I mean, at times that can sound maybe morbid, but really just things that I've always wanted to do. Among those, I always wanted to be fluent in a language, and I wanted to learn Italian. So I started that year, in 2014, early in the year, and from that, and I'm going to try to put how all this came together on using my skills, is I had about 5 language partners who have been amazing. And mind you, when I started, I truly could only say pizza, spaghetti, and chow. And so with that, that tells you, I mean, the progress I've been able to make, but through initially my language exchange partners, and I still was working full-time in healthcare marketing earlier in the year, they had a lot of questions about grammar. And even though my background is communications, I'm not an English major. And from this, just because I'm a lifelong learner, I went through and got my ESL, English as a Second Language certification, but for fun. Some people might say, really? But for me, it was fun of learning more about communications, but it also allowed me to help my friends, and ultimately I began to learn Italian even better, really understanding the foundation of language. So as time went on and I quit my job, I noticed I was going through this process and of what can I really do, what tools do I have, and I initially started just to make a little bit of income after 5 months of not working, doing some English as a second language teaching. I really found I wasn't necessarily a teacher but a coach. My international clients had really big goals in life. They wanted to create these ideal lives. They just happened to need English. It evolved into me not only just helping them, but suddenly back to encouraging women, what are you good at? I had to really just go through a simple process, but it wasn't simple at the time, and realize I have been teaching for years. I have taught 4-star generals how to do media spokesperson training, customer service when I worked for the newspaper. So back to personal branding, which is a big part of what I do with women, entrepreneurs, and international professionals, is how do you put your best foot forward? How do you stand out on the crowd? And basically, your reputation. So I know that was a little bit longer answer. I apologize, but back to saying, for me, it wasn't simple, but through this process and life happening, I started to be able to uncover what my gifts were and how I ultimately can use them to help other people create their ideal lives.
Well, and so for you, as it is for many of us who are entrepreneurial, it's not a straight line. It's kind of a winding path. And
really?
I want you to talk about that for just a moment, especially from someone you said that you like to plan things and know what's coming ahead. So how did you wrap your mind around this thing of just letting it kind of unfold, especially when you quit your job and then 5 months later you started to kind of look at, okay, now what do I need to do to kind of, you know, make some money out of this thing? So was it uncomfortable for you not knowing what was going to happen, or did you just take it in stride?
Yeah. No, I would really say it was uncomfortable at times, even though from praying and meditating I had a peace, but it's still uncomfortable. I mean, some people say, oh, you have it all together, but it's a day-by-day process. However, I think for me and what I get great joy of helping other people is moving outside of the fear and allowing yourself to move outside of your comfort zone. It's something I have to tell myself daily. Really, when it comes down to it, I realize the only thing holding me back is me. And that is something I really strive to help other women and professionals understand, and building your confidence. With me, I mean, I sit here and now I'm able to say, you know, the exciting things that I've done in my career, but I was really at a point that I didn't recognize. I didn't recognize that my gifts and skills, they were just that. They were gifts. Everyone doesn't have the same thing. It's not about being about bragging or being arrogant. We all have a unique purpose, so let's utilize it to our greatest potential. And so now, not that everything's perfect or troubles don't come, but on a daily basis, I even do affirmations. But I really understand, and I'm here for a reason. And ultimately, it's not me; it's to help others. So let me strive to continue to move past the fear, continue to be confident. You get the proper tools and resources, but let me be able to utilize it ultimately to help others.
Well, and when you were initially working with your international clients to help them with their English, it sounded like you started to look at the bigger picture. They didn't need just English. English was the tool, but they actually were wanting to build one full life. They wanted to build these full lives, so you were able to actually respond to that need, even though that was not the initial thing they came to you for. So can you talk about the fact that you were able to really listen to your clients and create a solution based on what they were looking for? Can you talk about that process?
Yes. Because I think some of my background of putting your best foot forward, ultimately when I worked in public relations, a lot about media interviews and coaching the right spokesperson to deliver the message. As I was giving these, lessons and sessions, I really saw some deeper needs. Actually, most of my clients, because I talk about my philosophy, being an English language coach and being able to really work together to accomplish their goals, that I've been very fortunate to develop trust. And from that, we really develop an actionable plan. And essentially, it's personal branding, things like elevator speeches. How do you sell yourself? How do you just really accomplish everything that you want? And if you happen to need English, how do you utilize that as well? So I get very excited because, yes, a part of it has been me working with them, but with their confidence, it's amazing the things that they have went on to accomplish. And most of my clients are long-term, and so because they accomplish these short goals, but they want to do things even bigger, which I'm like, wow, it encourages me. So I think of some great success stories, but one, we still work together once a week, and now he lives in the United States. And so when he first started with me, we did a lot with job interview skills and training, and you can imagine, again, with the whole personal branding, how do you talk about yourself and your strengths? So it all comes full circle. He got a job. He went on and he said, okay, Tay, I want to finish my degree. He finished his degree, and then he got his American citizenship. So I'm like, wow. He's like, thanks, Tay. No.
Wow.
I'm glad that you did this. You moved beyond. He was so afraid that first time he talked. Yes, I'm thankful that he felt comfortable and I was able to help extinguish the fear, but ultimately he did it. And so, and with my women international clients as well, sometimes we laugh because, whether it's even during a session and the child comes in or the baby's crying, life happens.
It does.
They are dentists and attorneys and supervisors, and it just, to me, just is incredible to say it doesn't matter where you are in this world, back to having that purpose, back to what are the tools and resources we can utilize to ultimately pursue our passion.
Wow. Well, speaking of passion, and of course we know travel is one of yours, can you talk to us about your travel experience coming up in September? What is that all about?
Oh, Monica, I am really excited. I know I'm using that word, but for the listeners, you have to know I really like to travel. So, and I love Italy. I'm also a Italy addict and an Italophile. So with this, I mentioned I first went to Italy when I was 16 and also Greece, fell in love with the country, and finally got back more than 20 years later. So I have vowed to myself, as long as I can, health-wise and financially, I don't ever want to miss an opportunity. And so I am back quite frequently. So since 2014, 2015, 2016, and I just got back last month. So with that, as we talked about, I had friends at first and acquaintances talking about how do you do it? I would love to go to Italy, or I would love to travel, but I'm afraid to go by myself, or I don't have the money. Many different reasons of why they couldn't do it. And as I have continued in this business, and it's been extremely instrumental in my own personal journey of self-discovery, I really started to say, how can I help other women step outside of their comfort zone, remove obstacles, whatever those may be, and travel. And if they'd love to come to Italy, I'd love to show them. And so I've been very fortunate to establish contacts, but also friendships in Italy. So it's become more like a second home. And I went last year for the first time, but I'm going back this year with 5 other women. And we are going to embark upon La Dolce Vita, which means the sweet life. So La Dolce Vita Italian experience combines a lot of my personal journey experiences that I've personally hand-selected, and we will go to 3 of my favorite places in northern Italy.
Oh, wow. That sounds really nice, and I love the fact that, again, you have crafted this experience based on your own experience, based on you're taking them to some of your favorite places. Obviously, Italy is one of your favorite places overall, period, so you're taking them there. They're going to go to some of your favorite spots in Italy and just have that experience. And I'm sure it's going to be life-changing for all of them, but this is a solution that you created out of your own experience, and were it not for you, it would not have been there. And so I want to kind of really focus for just a moment on having the confidence to go and create something that simply wasn't there before you created it, which, of course, is the nature of creation. But a lot of times we get so, I guess, intimidated or scared by putting ourselves out there that we don't create. And so can you talk to people who are interested in possibly doing something similar to what you've done? They want to be able to build a business around their passions and their expertise and to create something that didn't exist before. So can you give them any types of tips or advice or suggestions that they can look out for?
You know, one thing that I think had to maybe learn or accept, and I would encourage the listeners to think about, is don't be afraid to ask for help. This may sound so simple, Monica, but for me, I really had a challenge with this. And as I've embarked on the journey of building my business and doing the things that I love, I have had to ask for help, and that can be uncomfortable for some of us. And so what I mean after I say you ask for help, it's amazing how many people are willing to help you. And as an entrepreneur, you know, and everyone, I know it's not everyone's path, I have been so tickled and brag about it. My experience has been very positive. No matter if it's women who are doing something similar, most of them have just told me, you know, it's enough business for all of us. I want to see you succeed, so how can I help? Even with Italy, even with language, I mean, my friends, they have no problem whether they're correcting me with Italian. They want to help. When I did a tour, I partnered with the language school that I went to in 2014, and the owner of the school and his wife, they love to help. So as women are thinking, you know, what else do I want to do, whether it's career-wise or personal, just know there's someone else who has been in your shoes or very similar pair of shoes. And the vast majority would love to see you fulfill your dreams.
Wow. So just be open and ask for help, as you said. So that can just create a lot of opportunities for you if you just ask for help.
I think so. And for some of us, Monica, I know not for everyone, we kind of laugh with men, even though I'm the woman who doesn't like to ask for directions. And my children just say, Mom, stop, go ask for help. So I have to remind my own self, whether it's something as simple as getting to, just a party in the evening, to true life, big, scary goals, that something as simple as asking for help can propel you into a whole different arena. Part of my business, too, I help with clarity. In my own journey, I have looked at the tools and resources. I have a business coach. I've worked with a life coach. There are, whether it's free or paid, there are ways to pursue your passion, particularly if you don't even know just what is it, or how do I move past the fear. But, yes, that would be my simplistic yet not simplistic answer. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Well, thank you. Just a couple other questions. One, can you look past September right now at all? What's next for you, or are you pretty much consumed with September? Can you tell us what's after September?
I can tell you before and after. So, yes, even though I'm chomping at the bit and I'm excited for September is just a component of what I do. It really is more of the signature program that women who will be going to Italy, they will be tackling a big goal, as well as adding more joy, wealth, and freedom, learning those tools and techniques. But essentially, there are other ways I strive to do this all year long. A big part of that, as I mentioned, is personal branding, social media, and even life and work balance. And so before September, actually for those in the Albuquerque area, but I'll be launching this online as well, I do a personal branding and social media workshop, how to stand out on social media. As after September, I still will be doing different online as well as, and I guess that's a big piece too, Monica, I just want to share is as women look to seek how do they fulfill their goal, I just encourage you to look at the way. And so those are things that I teach people as well, because essentially my business is online. But I also like connecting with individuals, so I strive to do a few of those types of events during the year.
Where can we support you? But before you answer that, one other question. Are you living your wonderful life now? Can you talk about just really emotionally where you are in the space? You started the conversation talking about, of course, you had gone through a divorce and you were missing out on your children's lives. So can you talk about just how this business has helped you to, I guess, maybe not miss out on their lives, or just kind of where you are?
Yes, I am. I am living one full life, but I want to also share with listeners that for me, that's a fulfilling and satisfying life. If you would have asked me probably 20 years ago, I thought that was a perfect life. A perfect life doesn't exist. But a full life, things that give me more happiness, more success, and ultimately more freedom to do the things that I want, which includes spending time with my children, traveling, and helping others. That is what I have today. And so it gets me very, it's very rewarding, I should say, the place that I am. And I know that I also will continue to grow. And as we grow, there will be challenges, but also so many rewards and success. So I'm very excited. I have my own personal goals, even for 2017. My word for the year is action. And so I am striving, particularly at my 5 big goals, to make some type of progress every single day with it as well.
Well, my word for the year is courageous, and of course, action follows that, so courageous action. So we are sisters even in action, so that is wonderful. And I thank you so much for sharing these words of wisdom with our listeners. So please let us know how we can support you and how we can get more of you, because we definitely want more of you. So please tell us how we can support you.
Yes, I love, first of all, connecting with other women, particularly as we are all chasing the stars. And so you can find me. My two favorite places are on Facebook as well as Instagram. It's on the web, One Full Life. So that's just the number, O-N-E, full, F-U-L-L, life, L-I-F-E. So onefulllife.com. And you also can put that in on Facebook as well as on Instagram. Instagram, I love posting my travel photos there. So if you want to see a little bit more about my travels. However, on Facebook, too, I post a lot about personal branding and social media, and then some travel tips as well. So that's where you can find me, and I would love to connect.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I have been consuming your travel work, of course, and just a lot of other things that you're producing, because we are connected on social media. Thank you for sharing that. So we can go to onefulllife.com to be able to check you out online, as well as on Facebook at One Full Life and on Instagram at One Full Life. Is that correct?
That is correct. So thank you. And thanks, Monica, so much for your support and encouragement. We've known each other, I think it's been just a little bit, actually a long time now.
we have.
But thank you so much. You truly are courageous, and it has just been a pleasure. You motivate me, and I really appreciate this forum because you are making a difference in the lives of others.
And there you have it. This episode's information to inspire and empower you to use your gift and shine. For more free information like this, be sure to join me on my upcoming webinar, How to Turn Your Gift into a Unique Offering Others Will Buy. Go to chaseyourstar.com/gift-success. See you next time on Chase Your Star.